DJ Tonto and Danger Adam with me for a Wednesday afternoon.
Who had the more cringeworthy childhood?
I think every time somebody reminds me that my first radio name was DJ Tonto.
Where did that come from?
My toes curl a bit. I actually don't know where it came from. I wish I could. If you happen to be somebody that I hung out with in childhood, let me know in the comments. Tell me where DJ Tonto came from. I presume Danger Adam came from you being well dangerous.
Yeah, Danger Aaron was one of the Jackass guys. So we were the Jackass Juniors, and we had no originality, hence the name, and also hence the name Danger Adam. But I was very dangerous, as you can imagine.
Let's do some dangerous news. TLC plans have changed after a top WWE star's been injured. We have a rumour that 2 WWE superstars misled the company before re-signing. And WWE have cancelled a long-running special TV airing. We'll talk about that shortly. Burn it down! Not my words, the words of a movie fan destroying his posters around clown-based horror films. And the words of Seth Rollins.
Sure thing.
Normally from off of WWE Raw. What's he been up to, Adam?
That's right. Well, he's broken his finger, his little finger, his pinky, during a street fight match with Eric Rowan on Sunday night in Augusta, Georgia at a house show, which meant he was pulled from a match on Monday Night Raw. The original plan, reportedly, was that he was going to square off against Cedric Alexander. That didn't happen. Instead, we saw Seth attack Kevin Owens with the AOP and curb stomp his head into the concrete and all terrifying stuff. However, we also have a report saying that the original plan was to do Rollins versus Owens at TLC. That was meant to be announced this week on Raw. That didn't happen because they don't know if Seth can compete. I'm actually kind of happy about this. Not that he's broken his finger, obviously that sucks. But I actually think it's far too soon to be doing Owens versus Rollins. I'd like to see that. It feels like a big feud, and it should build all the way to Rumble, I guess.
Yeah, I like the idea of like a story that has like some build to it rather than just throwing it out there because they've run foul of this year in the sense that like Seth Rollins and The Fiend started feuding with Hell in a Cell just like literally around the corner. So we have to put it in a Hell in a Cell match. And it's like they might be stepping back a little bit here and going, oh, Seth Rollins and Kevin Owens, they've got to be in a TLC match. Well, let's not do that now. Mm-hmm. That's something we build to. You say that. It'll be announced tomorrow, won't it?
Probably.
Ladder match for everything.
Finger on a pole match.
But yeah, I mean, it's funny when you say like, oh, it's his little finger, it's his pinky finger. It doesn't sound like that innocuous an injury, but it's one of them things where they don't want to risk like a top guy with big plans having, any kind of... They're very careful these days with the guys.
Yeah.
Like, we're watching a lot of stuff, me and Matthew, we're watching a lot of stuff from 1999 at the moment as part of the SmackDown podcast. Nice. And, cheap plug. But everybody on that show is cream crackered in some way. Yeah. Like The Undertaker, like his back is gone. Like Mankind, his back is gone. Like everybody is walking wounded and working wounded. And it's nice to see that WWE say, look, let's just pull him away then. Let's not cause any further injury. Let's not exacerbate anything if we don't need to. How's this for a thorn in your eye, lads? Raw's down.
Again.
So
the ratings are in for this week's episode of Raw. Raw bringing in 2,150,000 viewers, which is down from last week's 2,208,000 viewers. Which is weird. I didn't think it was an especially great episode of Raw, but we've already learned that a great episode of Raw doesn't necessarily mean a big increase in TV viewership.
Yeah, it seems to be day to day at the moment. Like that's not like a massive drop in the ocean anyway, in the grand scheme of things. When you base it on how ratings work, that's like a couple of households not watching Raw and watching, I don't know, the snooker instead. I don't know what they watch.
I think they were watching the game, but the game lost.
The game of snooker.
The game.
The game of snooker.
They were down as well, and so it doesn't seem like Raw picked up any of those.
So nobody. Oh, okay. So the wrestling was down and the game was down.
Yes.
Snooker was up.
Snooker was up.
They were watching
Jimmy White.
They were watching the snooker.
Did you enjoy Raw this week?
I enjoyed the snooker. Do you know what? Raw was fine this week. It's one of them where it's. If you're not careful, it kind of feels like the same show a lot of the time. You have to take yourself away from it a little bit. There's always little shoots of stuff coming through. I must admit, the Saturday Night Live thing with the Street Profits, it didn't quite click with me.
No, agreed.
I mean, I guess like you have this sort of like cringe humour. Which I think is big at the moment.
You're nailing it.
How you doing? But then you have a big company who write stuff like I don't know whether they're trying to write cringe humour, but if they are, they're writing it badly because it's the wrong kind of cringe. I'm not like, I think they're trying to write like, this is really good.
Yeah, it's so rare that WWE do comedy right. I mean, it's all subjective, of course.
Yeah.
But with the exception of guys like Kevin Owens, for example, always just funny, always on form, and he even makes bad scripts a little bit better, just because he's so naturally funny, so naturally charismatic. But it didn't do them any favors. It felt weird, the placement of that, also being after the match with the Viking Raiders, where they got beat as well. Minor critique, but at the end of the day, like I for the past few weeks on Raw, I've felt like hours 2 to 3, there's a lot of non-matches and a lot of stuff which I just wouldn't mind skipping. And we are seeing a dip in that hour as well, that's for sure. And it's going down. We talk about it like being not a huge fall, but essentially, like, it is just gradually declining all the time, and that's got to be a worry.
Yeah, and there's good stuff on there. It's just sometimes you've got to find it. But the problem is, I imagine they're making so much money off Raw being 3 hours.
Of course, yeah.
I don't think losing an hour is going to fix all their problems immediately, but a lot of people always go, 3 hours is too long.
It would make it more pleasant as a viewer. It would cut the fluff, wouldn't it? It would get rid of the stuff that you don't want to see, and hopefully just have... But that said, SmackDown's been pretty good as well, hasn't it?
That's true. NXT's been all right. That's on tonight. Keith Lee, number 1 contenders match. Don't you forget about... I'm burning up in Daytona.
So much nicer. Not even when you're singing, just generally. Close
Give
my eyes.
me one like a roaring bear.
Very nice.
Tell us a story about the Cannella Side.
I will tell you a story about the Cannella Side. Right, so they re-signed with the WWE this year, reportedly a 5-year deal. And then 4 months after that happened, Mike put a statement out saying that he had requested his release from WWE, which wasn't granted. That statement read, "Today I asked for my release from WWE. I want to thank everyone in the company who's helped me out. I've also shared a locker room with some great people. I love you all. I've been with the company for almost 3 years, and I'm grateful for the opportunity. However, it's time for me to move on." As I say, that release wasn't granted. He's not one of the 4 that have just got their release. Mike is still with the company. Bully Ray has appeared on the Busted Open Radio Sirius XM radio show. And he's talked about this. And these are just rumours and innuendo, as we say. But he's talked about this and how they may have misled WWE. So I'm going to read this word for word. I heard rumours, and not internet rumours and dirt sheet rumours. So I'm assuming that's coming from people within the WWE. I think is a fair assumption there. I've heard talk of some scuttlebutt amongst the boys that Mike and Maria might have misled the WWE when their new contracts were signed. I don't know this for a fact, but I'm saying maybe the WWE didn't want to release them because they want to keep them and get their money's worth out of them, which would make sense. So the likelihood is here that he's talking about Maria announcing her pregnancy so soon after re-signing with the company. I think that's what he's talking about here.
Yeah. 1, scuttlebutt's a great word.
Yes.
More of that, please. And 2, do you think he would have not re-signed them if they'd said, if Maria had said she was pregnant?
I don't know. I can't talk on behalf of the company, obviously. To me, like obviously it's a big investment. Apparently, despite the fact that they're rarely used on TV, there was a lot of money involved in this, and maybe not like. You know what? Like, they've got financial security now, at least.
Yeah.
It is frustrating not to see them on TV, especially Mike, who's just such a tremendous wrestler. I think he's got a lot to give. So I can understand from a company's perspective maybe why they wouldn't want to release them. Maybe they've got plans for them. I doubt it, but maybe.
I really like to think so.
Yeah.
Like it's as much as it is like just another cuck storyline. It was nice to see Mike and Maria on television for a little bit this year.
It was, and then it was pulled from them to give that sort of soap opera stuff to Rusev, Bobby, Lana, which has got mixed reviews, to put it very, very kindly. I liked it for a bit.
Rusev, Bobby, Lana does sound like somebody that would star in a soap opera.
Yeah,
starring Rusev, Bobby, Lana.
Bobby Lana.
As Mickey Joe Johnson's.
So, I don't know. We'll see what happens with Mike next. As I say, this is just rumour. This is coming from Bully's mouth, and obviously he's heard things, and we believe it refers to the pregnancy of Maria. But we'll let you know.
And Bobby Lashley, the 17th annual...
Bobby Lashley!
Take that.
Fine Alamon's out the door. That's genius.
Just evolving, innit I? Like
to.
a Pokemon's. The 17th annual tribute to the troops, very much like the revolution, will not be televised. Here's Adam Pacitti to tell you more.
Thank you. I'm loving these intros. You make me feel like such a big deal.
I am very giddy this afternoon.
Yeah, so it's been reported by Meltzer on Wrestling Observer Radio that it wasn't taped for TV, which will be the first time that hasn't happened. Whereas the 17th edition, all of them have aired on TV. This will be the first time. So that's an awful long time. time. End of a bloody era. We're going to talk about the results in a second, so spoiler hats on. We haven't got the spoiler.
Spoiler chicken is currently out, so I've got an idea for that when we get to it.
Okay. So we'll get to the results in a minute. They're fairly interesting, actually. It's a weird one because it's something that I always watch, which is ridiculous.
You were like a super fan of the Tribute to the Troops.
They're just interesting shows. Like, generally they're only an hour or so long, and there's something nice about it. Looks so different, and I know they've held it in arenas recently, but when it's on the military base, there's something it feels special, and it's nice. It's just a feel-good show.
I like the one where JBL turned up in a hazmat suit.
I don't remember that.
Where he turned up and he was like, I'm here to support the troops, but he was like dressed for like nuclear war.
Right.
That was a really fun.
Nice. Vince getting stunned, I remember being good.
Stone Cold Santa.
Yes.
That was good times.
Right.
There's been some good stuff from there, right? If you don't want to know what happened, due to a lack of a spoiler chicken, I'm just going to be...
Genius.
Spoiler champ.
Right, so we don't know, once again, if this is going to be airing on the WWE network yet. It was taped. I would suggest, given these results, that it won't be. So we're going to run this down now. Humberto Carrillo and Kevin Owens defeated Drew McIntyre and Andrade.
There you go.
Big, feel-good match to open the show, sure. Women's Tag Team Champions Asuka and Kairi Sane retained over Sarah Logan and Natalya. There's no reason they want to wear that either. The Street Profits defeating Zack Ryder and Kurt Hawkins. Same story. OC defeating Ricochet and the Viking Raiders. So maybe they wouldn't want to wear that, although the Viking Raiders have lost now. The interesting one here is Seth Rollins defeating Eric Rowan in a boot camp match in which Seth Rollins was working babyface. So that's why I think they want to do it. On top of that, Eric Rowan is obviously just squashing jobbers left, right and centre at the moment, so they probably won't want Seth Rollins to be beating him, especially as a babyface. Boot camp match though, yeah.
I love a good boot camp match. Sergeant Slaughter-esque goodness from a boot camp match.
Who turned up at one of the Tribute to the Troops. I can't remember which one, but he was there. Also appearances from Braun Strowman and the Hall of Famer Mark Henry himself. I guess don't expect to see it, which is a shame. And it's a really confusing one because generally these shows do about 1 million viewers, which is all right for WWE, especially considering it's such good PR for them.
Yeah, so I mean, whether this is just a one-off thing and maybe next year they'll actually...
Possibly, maybe they just couldn't get the network time. I don't know how it works, but...
They run their own network!
No, I get that as well. I mean TV network time. Maybe that's the reason. We don't know if it's going to be airing on the network yet. We'll keep you updated on that. If it does, I'm going to watch it. As I do every single piece of year.
You can watch, can we do a live stream of you watching it?
Yeah, sure.
Saluting America.
4 viewers.
Have a lovely Wednesday. Hey, thanks for watching. Don't forget to leave a comment in the comment section down below. You can support us on Patreon by going to patreon.com/Cultaholic. Lastly, don't forget to hit subscribe and join us.